Hey, what's up? A lot of you guys wanted me to review a video by Liver King, or as most people call him, Drug Queen. I'm firstly gonna watch a video by Shredded Sports Science about him.
The Liver King tucking into a testicle, likely a bull's testicle. Thank you for the clarification. Meet the Liver King, the name he gives to himself, aka Jake the Snake. A man, in capitals for some reason, who swears by caveman diet, eats raw liver, testicles and bone marrow every day. Brian Johnson, nicknamed the Liver King, claims it has transformed his life. And can I be the first to say,
this is an example of my post-workout meal.
that this really is the post-workout anabolic window.
I'm gonna have 6 raw eggs, 30 grams of protein in a protein shake. I'm gonna have this full-fat, grass-fed, grass-finished yogurt concoction with some maple syrup and some concoction here. And then I'm gonna...
That's already a big joke. He eats all of this stuff, which is supposedly natural, and you would be able to get all of the protein that you need from it. But no, of course he needs a protein shake. It's just so stupid.
Have some delicious, delectable bone marrow, raw, fresh, right out of the bone. And then I'm gonna have, of course, a couple ounces of some fresh, raw liver with some maple syrup and some salt on top of that.
Okay, the only thing that you're doing by adding maple syrup to your liver is saying it tastes bad, it's not our natural diet, you shouldn't actually eat it. That's why I add maple syrup to it, which is disgusting. How can you even combine that? But whatever. And then, of course, salt. Why? Well, I don't know what his explanation is, but salt is incredibly unhealthy for human beings.
Airport workout.
Airport workout, or what I call check-in. Imagine being sat next to him on a flight. And so I don't go into specific diets on this channel. That's not my place. I do discuss issues around nutrition.
I've never heard of this channel, but he looks like he's been through 10 rounds of chemo. I don't understand why he talks about anything sports or anything related to being shredded. I hope that he doesn't talk about health or anything, because he's the last guy on earth who should talk about that.
Just calorie balance, for example. When it comes to specific
Yes.
eating protocols, that's not something I'd touch on. That's something I leave to others. But of course, from this video, I would like this community to discuss what he's doing. The stacked American has been living in the wilderness, eating raw meat and following a regimented ancestral lifestyle for 20 years. He follows what he calls 9 ancestral...
Okay, that's obviously nonsense, seeing as he doesn't live in the wilderness whatsoever. That's good marketing, I guess. That's all. He's selling himself. He's fake.
tenets, which include strict rules on eating, exercise and sleeping. His aim is to go back to the lifestyle we had centuries ago, living without modern day comforts and eating simply. Okay, fine, but let's address the elephant in the room if it's not been eaten by now. He isn't natural. We can talk about how ancestors ate for health. Fine, I understand the more simple, natural way of living if you like. I'm pretty sure they weren't shooting multiple compounds. So let's get a bit of reality check here.
Very good points.
Primals.
You can't present yourself in this primal, healthy way when you're taking external compounds. I don't think Fred Flintstone was on trend. That is not the natural option. That's not primal.
Yeah, for him to use the word primal, look, when I see him, I feel incredibly sorry for him. I don't say that to offend him or to look down on him or anything. I really feel sorry for him, because realistically, what are we looking at here? At a severe mental illness. It's a hyper masculinity. It's little boys who got bullied in school, who were losers, who then thought that they have to take drugs and have to look the way Hollywood wants men to look, which has nothing to do with masculinity. That's drug queen. Sad.
That's not what ancestors did, which, to be clear, is very much his marketing. If you see, basically on all his posts, he tags primals, you know, this going back to the basics type ethos. And look, he's an adult, fine, it's his decision to take what he likes, but you cannot market yourself as like the primal ancestral type health and fitness projection when you're not natural. Time to rethink a few things.
What up, Primals? It's Saturday. That means it's day we train barbarian. Super barbarian. It's the day that we test ourselves. And we remind...
Like, what does he see when he looks in the mirror? Like, does that look good? You look sick, man. You look absolutely... Like, you look incredibly sick. You almost look sicker than the guy who's making the video, which says a lot.
ourselves that we are strong and that we're capable of so much more. We all have a barbarian inside of us that lies dormant. Get out there and awaken your barbarian and show yourself what you're capable.
Yeah. Eat the liver with maple syrup, shoot up some drugs. Like, what are you talking about?
of and dominate primals.
And certainly there is a sense of positivity to some of his videos, which may inspire some people on their fitness journey. But again, if you're projecting the primal train like a warrior, you've got to do it naturally. That famous leader, Julius Decker, or the legendary Spartacus growth.
Exactly. It would be interesting to see somebody who really takes working out serious and actually eats raw meat, raw liver, testicles, and whatever, just like that.
He has an enviable home garage gym set up there, and I'm not knocking the primal training
In the
aspect.
wilderness.
And I like the fact that he trains in multiple ways, but you've got to be transparent about everything you do, and is a firm believer in using all parts of an animal for optimum health. But to a poignant, very serious part of his story, Brian thought...
He's an absolute shame to the raw meat community, if you can call it that. Just an absolute joke, and I don't think that anybody takes him serious, except for some idiots who fall for him and actually buy some of his stuff, which I've heard he sells.
To be in his 40s, had a number of businesses and was living the American dream until his boys
it's
began
another
to get
business.
ill. The more my boys interacted with the modern world, and then he discusses a few health issues here.
We're having a couple of patties today. Just maybe a scoop or two of guac. And we did tons of earning it, so we're gonna eat all of those. These are all for me. All these patties are for me.
Not even Cali Muscle could mukbang that.
Some of you guys think I don't eat all this food. I eat every single patty. I eat every single fry, and I will prove it to you. Get down here and let me show you. I will prove this to you. Liver King out.
The NHS advises thoroughly cooking.
Okay, he calls himself Liver King and then he eats all of that garbage. It's just, I don't know how much more obvious it can be that he's fake and it's a business.
We just finished simulating a successful hunt because we're coming up on a 24-hour fast. So the way to break that fast is by simulating a successful hunt.
That gut, oh man, he should never talk about health. And
We did 2 rounds of Tabata push-ups.
it's sick.
We did a couple of rounds of assault bike upper body only.
Alright, that was it. And then there's another video here which he uploaded recently about why you are unhealthy.
A lot of people are really focused on tenet number 2 and tenet number 3, which are eat and move.
You look deformed. Like, how can you talk about how can you talk about health and people being unhealthy? Oh my god, like body dysmorphia. Oh wow.
Move in order to express like the strongest, leanest, what they believe is the most visually dominant form of themselves. And what I try to tell everybody is it's just not how you eat or how you move. It really has to do with all 9 ancestral tenets. All
Take
9
off that
ancestral
cap
tenets is going to get
at
you the right
last.
nourishment. You know, everyone's asking me like, does Liver King drink alcohol? I'm like, yes, Liver King. I'm Liver King. Yes, I drink alcohol. You know, but
You're not Liver King. You're a drugged up guy who markets himself as Liver King, who eats liver with maple syrup and a bunch of overcooked carcinogenic meat. What are you? Oh my god.
built a more biologically resilient
Of course he drinks alcohol.
version of myself
He's,
so that I can take on some poison. There's these ginger cookies, and fuck, dude, there's something I can't think of it right now.
Ginger cookies sound fire, yeah.
Yeah, there's ginger cookies, and there's one other thing that it's like a butter cookie that she makes.
Love it.
Yeah, that's basically it. But she will also make something with like chocolate, 100% cacao chocolate, and some dates. And so she'll either kind of like blend that up a little bit, or she'll just melt the chocolate into the date.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds fire.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love it.
doesn't sound fire at all. What are you talking about? Is it this guy? Who is this guy interviewing him? Cookies sounds like fire. Yeah, Liver King.
Yeah.
You know, when we had the ability to make fire at will, well, of course we cooked some of our food, but we didn't always cook our food. And so we really integrate a little bit of both. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong with either of these things? So why not hedge a little bit? And like you said, your brain lights up when you have some raw meat. Me too. You know, we only have Thursday's dinner is completely raw. And so you'll see I'm going to eat a pound of raw meat on Thursday dinner. But yeah, every meal has cooked food and raw food in it.
What is this guy talking about? He can't figure out what our natural diet is? Well, food in its natural form is natural. You don't need to think if it's cooked or raw. Like, what? Doesn't make any sense. He's obviously addicted and has those cravings just like the people that he talks about. He doesn't realize that that's how he is himself.
Cooked versus raw. At the end of the day, when we talk about cooked versus raw, we absolutely evolved with raw animal foods. I think you can easily make the case that we really became human because we were able to access the brain inside the cranium and the bone marrow inside the bones.
Of course, he believes in the evolution theory.
That's probably our first food. It was all raw.
All right, that's it. Don't get me wrong. Anybody who promotes raw liver in some form is, of course, a cool guy, so to speak. And if anybody starts eating raw liver, even if it's once a week, because of his videos, that's awesome. But it's irrelevant what this guy eats, which is exactly why he doesn't stick to a diet or doesn't actually eat naturally. It's super clear that it's only a business for him, seeing as he doesn't have to think about it because he's all about his gains, which he gets from drugs. It's essentially irrelevant what he eats, which is why I said before, it would be interesting to watch somebody who actually eats raw meat and works out like crazy and so on, and then you could actually listen to him and learn something from him and so on. What can you learn from him? Essentially absolutely nothing, because everything he says is fake. He literally looks fake. He says one thing but then does another thing. Very contradictory. If you want to learn how to make drug queen gains, then you can watch him, but otherwise there's nothing there. Thanks for watching.